from there to here is night and day.
Yeah.
I asked Andrew for some shorts and a tank top.
He's bringing them. Yes.
A little drink with an umbrella in it.
He carries them in his kayak, which is in his truck. So
it's very tropical in here.
Yeah. Dave on the line here. Dave has the latest tally. David, good morning. So all morning long we've been conducting yes, and Councilman Marino is saying, kind of poking fun, saying
no.
However,
Listen,
these are people that are driving in that area, and they're using the device they have in their car called the horn. So Andrew or David, where are we with our numbers right now? We've been doing since about 6:15 this morning. Is he there, Andrew? Why don't you check with him? Because probably somebody just, one of the people that live over there just took him out.
Ran him over.
That's it. All right, try to get him again.
Nah, they're good people over there.
So, listen, I know we're kind of going back, and we normally agree. And no matter whether we agree or not, you're always here. You're always willing to talk to us.
Sure.
That's why we call you the deputy mayor.
No, boy, that's a terrible title.
But I know you're going to vote. Your vote is going to be against the zoning change.
The zoning change, right? You know, and again, that's the thing. The fact is, we actually do agree in the sense that Stewart's is a valuable company. They're valuable to the community. But just taking one parcel of land. It's something I can't support for those people over there, and I resent the position that I'm in.
But remember, this is they're the owner of the. It's not like we're using eminent domain.
No, correct.
There is an owner of the property.
There is an owner of the property, and they're willing to sell.
The same argument to you, saying, "Listen, this is America. I want to sell my property."
No.
By the way,
I'm not misstating it. The owner of the property is willing to sell. Absolutely.
Which is toxic. So
not the residential part.
That is not at all.
No,
he says that he has a hard time selling because of
his property. Okay, I don't know that. I don't know.
That's what I read.
The only part that I know that has contamination requirements is the birth property. So
But would you want to buy Jim's property if you knew that within you're bordered against a property that has toxins in the soil?
Somebody gave me a DEC report that said my soil was tainted. Of course not. Why would I do that?
Therefore, the value of your house goes down the tubes. Back to Dave here. What was your tally there, Dave, as you wrap up?
Yes, we have, so far, Mr. Keeler, we have 121 for yes, and we have 53 for no.
All right, again, kind of lingering there at a 2-to-1 margin, those in favor of it. On Facebook, which could be people that are not in the area, what are you seeing on Facebook?
I think these are all, everyone who has responded, I think, is local, and we have 8 yes and no no's.
Yeah, a lot of people on the outside looking in, and that's part of what, and I understand, you're representing people over there.
Absolutely. No, look, Bill, at the end of the day, I could see the good, and I've told you before, but the problem is, it's not a problem for me because I sleep very comfortable at night. I resent the position that I'm in. I believe that this position.
Who do you resent? If you resent,
I don't resent this person, but I resent the whole administration not doing their job. So it's not particularly the mayor, but the fact is, I think that he should have taken the lead on this issue if it was so important to the city of Utica. My job is to focus on East Utica. People may not agree with the job that I do from outside looking in, but my job, and let me tell you something too, this is not by any means for a vote. Believe me when I tell you, again, this zoning change I fundamentally disagree with. The vote, I've never done anything for a vote. I've never done anything for a lawn sign. In fact, the last election, I don't bring this up, but I told someone over there, who said, look, Mr. Marino, we'd like you to vote to keep zoning residential over there.
Yeah.
And if you don't, we got a big voting block. And I even said, and I did happen to, to go along and I want to do that. But I even told this person, I said, look, not for nothing. And again, I'm not a full-time politician, but I won 83-17 last time. I'm not worried about not being reelected.
Let me. Can I bring up the issue of, you're saying that your reasoning is because your reason for voting the way you're going to vote in June when this it'll be after the public hearing, right?
Right.
Your reason for voting no on the zoning issue is that the mayor's office did not get out in front of this and they did not inform these people
That is not the reason. That is a problem that I think that it's been a
Okay.
fundamental problem with this issue. If he got out in front of the people at the beginning of this, because I know you weren't involved in February when this all started.
Yeah, it was-
I was, so when I'm there, I told the planning board, I didn't say vote no against it at the planning board. What I told them to do was give these people an opportunity to find out what the heck an auto overlay zone is. No one even knew what that was.
Yeah.
The only thing these people got was a letter in the mail, hey, by the way, your neighborhood's going to change. Now that, I think, is it's poor communication. Now, if, say you held a neighborhood meeting, these things are done all the time, town hall meeting. Have a meeting and tell these people why it's good. And then this way, I would have been there, I would have learned what all this stuff was. I wish to God I never knew what an auto overlay zone was.
Right. But don't you feel that has now been done? I mean, now
Now it
there
has, but you know what? Now it's become such a poignant issue.
Yeah.
Now we got people, absolutely just almost vindictive on both sides.
But some of their arguments, Joe, are stupid.
Some of the arguments on the administration
I
side are
understand.
stupid.
I'm just saying, kids are going to come across the street and get hit by a car. I mean, that's dumb.
Look, whether you agree with those or not,
But
whether
there's already a nice and easy there. We should be then protesting the nice and easy because they have a novelty.
look,
ice
that's
cream,
it. It's the lack of
section.
communication is leading people to fear, just like anything else. Everybody's fear is from the fear of the unknown. So they don't know. I mean, they're saying anything that they could because there is a park there. Could there be a correlation of more cars means more traffic problems? Of course there could. Could it mean that there's more kids that are in danger? Of course, with more cars. Now, I'm not saying it's
We don't protest the E.J. Herman cross country event.
absolutely not. I'm not saying it's
And
the
there-
most practical
there
argument.
are groups of people in the street.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't go so far as to say that it's a ridiculously stupid argument. I'm saying that it's not the most practical,
Yeah.
granted, and I concede that. But these people over there are trying to, you're talking about 80 to 85-year-old women trying to protect their neighborhood. They don't know
That's a
from the
valid
city,
argument. That's
from
a-
the city
so
what
there's a
exactly.
Property owner over there that doesn't want the Stewarts in their neighborhood. Valid argument. The zoning issue that the guy called in earlier and said that's a valid argument.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But at the same time, you already have two businesses there on vacant, right? Vacancy. They used to be businesses.
Look, you know how you get me out of this, Bill? You know how you take me all the way out?
Yes.
Buy the property as it sits. Don't rezone the land. Don't take that one little parcel of land and I don't get to do any of this. You know what? Take a walk, Joe Marino. I don't want to hear your mouth. I don't want to hear your
So you're
ridiculous
saying
arguments.
don't take the other two. Don't.
Right now,
rezone.
as it sits, the commercial property is 2.5 times the size of Nice and Easy as it sits now.
But isn't it true though that they are, in order to do that, it's not zoned for a business like Stewart's anyway? That was one of the.
They would need an
complaints.
auto overlay zone, but they wouldn't need it. So, but my arguments go away. Most of them go away.
Right.
My argument for the master plan goes
If
away.
if they did that, would they? You would.
I would still vote with the people. I would still go against, but my arguments, the valid arguments, not the stupid arguments, the valid arguments
Right.
that those people make, they would start to go away. But because Stewart's, and they're supposed to be a neighborhood-friendly community business, I mean, they're kind of being a little greedy.
You think Stewart's is being greedy?
I think they are being a little greedy in the sense of how much land they want. Look, I asked Stewart's, and the reason
I think that's unfair.
well, let me
Because
tell
I
you.
gotta tell you, you have an administration they're dealing with. They are negotiating.
And
with.
the administration
It
is pushing
telling
them along.
That is telling them to call Stewart's greedy.
Well, I'm saying the whole situation is greedy, not Stewart's, because let me tell you why Stewart's is not being greedy. Stewart's came to our meeting last night and recommended that they would change the amount of gas pumps that they had to lower them to make the situation more amenable. They told us directly that they would work with a particular neighbor who lives right next door. They said they spoke to that neighbor and tried to make that. Stewart's has been fantastic. I'm saying the situation and the administration pushing Stewart's to keep with this, because again, like you said, there is an owner of that home, but the city is the applicant for the zoning change, not the homeowner.
Yeah.
So the city is pushing this along and pushing Stewart's along. So the situation is regarding greed at this point for the amount of land that they need. Now, Stewart's is obviously concerned for the amount of land. The reason they want it is a buffer. It's not for business sense. It's not for business purpose. It's a buffer between the community.
But doesn't that help that would help the owner?
It would help the owners, but the
homeowners.
fact is, if you want me out of this issue, if and I hate the fact that I'm, the face of some economic situation. I love economic development. I love the building of the city. I think we're turning the corner. I think we're doing wonderful in this sense. But I got to sit here as the representative of these people who've been trampled, and I'm just not going to put up with that. I don't care, if I ever get elected to another office, and I don't care if anyone agrees with their issue or not. I'm elected to do their job, and I'm going to do it every single day of the week and go to bed easy every time I
The
do it.
trampled thing where people, this happens every day in America.
Yeah, but I'm
with
telling you.
eminent domain. We're going to put a highway there, and sorry, you're going to have to. We're going to give you fair value. We're going to sell your place.
I'm not
This is unique in that the owner of the property wants to sell.
Owner of the property isn't the applicant, Bill. The city is,
Right.
and I'm not in favor of the government pushing in on people's rights and responsibilities.
Clearly, I think we've exhausted every possibility.
I hope so. My goodness gracious.
Right. But listen, we'll agree to disagree. Let's go to
Absolutely.
the next issue. I want to break, and we'll come back and talk about what I also I think is kind of silly saying we have a gigantic surplus.
Okay.
So the audit
Well,
is
now
out.
we agree.
The audit is out, and we'll talk about something we agree about coming up in a second. And the mayor just around the corner at 8:35. Hold tight. Back here in 2 minutes.